Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Marlborough, we have Gary Kelly with us. And he works at, I'm going to get this right, wait for it, Lamocchia. I'll get it. Excuse me to those with that last name. Lamocchia. You know what I can think of is the man of Lamocchia. Lamocchia.
Actually, some of my friends say, Gary, you're the man from Lamocchia now.
Lamocchia Realty, and boy, are we going to have a good show. We were just talking about it, the conundrum that we're in now. Sell your home, get a great price, right? Where the heck are you going to go? What are you running into with this?
Well, that's the issue right now with people, is they call and they'll say, I want to sell my house. And so we're real estate agents. I want to say we're coin operated. That's meant to be funny. You know, we get in the car, we run over, and the first thing we say after the niceties is, so what are you trying to achieve? Yeah. We try to understand what their goals are. And if they say to us, we just want to take advantage of the market. Okay, I get that. But then where are you going to go becomes the question. Yeah. And if they have a place in Florida that they bought years ago, they've got a family home, they've got a place out in the Cape, so they know where they're going. That's pretty exciting for us, yeah. Okay? Yeah. Because houses on the market now tend to go fairly quickly, tend to sell fairly quickly. If they don't know where they're going, it actually becomes a different kind of conversation immediately. And it's really, let's work on that, because they need to have a sense of where they're going to go before we pull the trigger and put a for sale sign in the yard. If you put a house on the market, the things to think about are what protections are there so that you don't end up without a home. Yeah. And some of those include contract language. You know, we're not going to sell the home until the seller has found and closed on suitable housing. So it's not enough that they found a place. They've got to be in it. They've got to be able to pull the trigger, because if they've just found the place and they haven't closed, then they end up exposed. The other approach is to get the house ready, get the pre-approval completed, be ready to pull the trigger so that when they find that place, they're able to put the house in the market immediately. Right. Okay? That we do all of our kind of upfront work up front. In that scenario, we go through, my colleague Sue Gordon and I, we go through, we stage the home. You're going to say, why do you stage the home in a market like this? Well, some homes, if you've lived there for 28 years, you've accumulated 28 years worth of stuff.
And they advise you get rid of the family pictures.
Well, the family pictures need to go. It needs to be depersonalized. It needs to be set up. Someone said to me once, you make my house generic. Yeah. Absolutely. That's what we're trying to do, because we want it to be appealing to someone walking through the house and not have someone feel like they're walking into someone else's home. So you get the house ready, clean it up, and that, you know, the last one we did like this is multiple dumpsters, multiple people going through and helping, because what Sue and I try to do is help people at the end of the day. Our belief is if we help people, real estate will happen as kind of a sideline. So we get our professional photos taken. We do a floor plan, because I think it's important for people to be able to sit at home and look at what the property looks like. And we get the photos done. We try to do a tour of the house, not necessarily a video tour, but a tour where you can point and click and kind of get a sense of what is in that area. And people, you know, it used to be that people would sit at work and do that because they had greater bandwidth. Okay, now they're at home and they're able to look at the stuff any time of the day, but the people pour over that.
I love looking at them, the view. You could just press that arrow, you see the bedrooms, you see the kitchen. I love it.
Right.
Oh.
Well, you know, we get to the point where you can literally see the toothbrush in the bathroom. Yeah. And what we try to do is we try to, you know, I'm going to say clean that up. We try to make the house as pleasant as we can and preserve it in an electronic form so that when they're ready to put the house in the market, boom, it's done. And that's how we do things.
Okay, what do you do? If you have to say you've got a couple who want to downsize, okay, so they found a home that they'd like to do, but they think, well, I got to sell the house first in order to get that, if you can get that.
Right.
This is tricky. And look at the condos, Gary. Look at the condos with those monthly tragic fees.
HOA fees?
Oh, that's ridiculous. What a gambit that is.
As someone that lives in a condo, I'm very well, it is.
You gotta get a roommate, Gary.
Well, I'm interviewing. No.
Just
I live by myself in a condo, and the truth is that I used to, worry about my lawn. I had the big yard and all that stuff.
yeah.
When you're in a condo, someone else takes care of all that. Now, you want to pay attention to what the condo board is doing. Not
Yeah.
that they're bad people; they're other people in the community. But sometimes they have an idea of what the place should look like.
Yeah.
That maybe when you have other people when they're spending other people's money, it's something that you got to rein in or keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Where I live, we've had a couple of special assessments. It's never pleasant. But I can honestly say, without publicizing this to the board of St. Mary's Condos in Marlborough, that the place has been maintained nicely,
Yeah.
and they've taken care of safety things. Like, I live in a townhouse. They came out and they said they called it a deck. It's a stair in the back of the building. Needs to be replaced. All of them. There was 11 of them. And I'm like, no, that's great. Yes, it shakes when I go down, but it's fine. It'll be great. But no, it wasn't fine. And you look closely, and that's the difference. When you look closely, you see some of the 4x4s had been twisted and stuff like that. It was time. So I give them credit for keeping the place up. I don't like special assessments. I don't like the increased spend, but it's part of being in a community, part of community living.
It's like Big Brother watching you. It's like, or the Stepford Wives, don't you dare put that plant out there on the porch.
That does happen, okay? One of my neighbors is kind of having a tiff with one of his neighbors because he took an area behind his house, it's kind of in a wooded area, and neatened it up. Put in a couple of plants. It actually looked okay. Maybe not my taste, but it looked fine. The neighbor says, no, when I look out my window, I want to see Vermont. Well, this is like Sarah Palin. I can see Russia from my backyard. I don't live in Vermont. I live in Marlborough.
Yeah.
Behind me is another set of condos. It's not Vermont, but they're arguing back and forth. And I don't know how they resolve that.
Yeah.
One's saying, I'm not going to touch it. The other one's saying it's got to go. It happens all the time.
Funny thing is, I think, well, if I had a condo, I love them. I'd love to get one. No problem getting it when you sell the house. It's going to be that monthly gizmo there, and you're thinking, geez, I hope it's got a finished basement. I can rent it to somebody.
Well,
If they can live with me or us, fine.
that's where if someone's buying a condo, and I'm okay with condos. I live in one. If someone's buying a condo, they need to pay attention to what the rules and regulations are.
Yeah.
Where I live, and I'm not promoting St. Mary's Condos in Marlborough, Mass. Where I live, they don't allow rentals. Okay?
Well, no. They don't know it. It's a family member who comes
That's
in.
exactly right. We have lots of cousins all of a sudden.
Oh, yes.
My cousin's staying with me.
I've been a landlord. I know the drill.
Yeah, it's-
They can't throw a family member out,
Right.
Yeah.
So those kinds of things happen all the time. I used to have a business where, taking care of landscapes and stuff. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It just doesn't appeal to me. And instead, as I like to put in my listings, you'll love it when someone else is mowing the grass and shoveling the snow. Instead of going out and shoveling snow, you stand there and criticize how they shoveled the snow and whether it was down far enough and all that.
You think of these condos, there are like tons and tons of units. And when you think of each unit shelling out like maybe $600 a month, I'm thinking, I could we have a friend who plows, and I could also get a college kid or a kid from church to come and do the lawn. Do you see I'm adding this up in my head?
Well, I see what you're doing, and that's fair.
Yeah.
The thing with most condos is that it also includes exterior maintenance.
Yeah.
And so taking care of the siding and all that. When the roof goes, that's a part of it. Now, what tends to happen is there's a special assessment because they don't have enough money in the reserve to pay for it. There's all kinds of condos. There's the ones where it's an old apartment building with a central heating system, and the condo fee is high because you're also paying for your heat as a part of your condo fee. That makes sense to me why the condo fee is higher. My condo fee is just over $400 a month. I think that that's a lot, but I've already said that I think the place looks nicer than it did when I moved in some number of years ago. So it's all about how they do it. What I'm struggling with personally is a lot of the condos you see today, there's a development going in Westboro where the old state hospital is.
Yes.
And it's a Pulte development, okay? Yeah. And to me, it looks like an apartment building. I think, how many different ways can you design, some kind of a housing like that? But it just doesn't appeal to me. That's a personal thing. They're fine.
Because I'm the same way with the cookie cutter McMansions. I've often told people, I said, if somebody gifted me one of those, I'd sell it and get something with character. But if I had to keep it, if I had to keep a McMansion, you better believe I'd probably divvy it up into 2 or 3 apartments. It's win-win. You as a landlord win, and you're also helping a couple families find a place to live. I guess I'm a humanitarian. What am I going to do with that space?
My last house was a 5-bedroom house in Westboro. Yeah. And, I had the money to pay for it. I was fortunate in the sense of having that. But I look at it, and this was a number of years ago, and you say, let's put bark mulch down. So you're having bark mulch delivered by the truck, and then you're running around with a wheelbarrow. That's not fun, okay? Or the driveway was steep, and it turned out that it had a heated driveway. It was far cheaper for me to pay a plow guy to take the snow away than it was to heat the driveway. The heated driveway, I don't think it was worth the investment. And then certainly wasn't the operational cost. But you get to a point where you say, what am I spending the money for? And am I getting intrinsic value from it? So I think these are things people have to look at as they look at, I'm going to go from a house, how's my health, how's anyone else in my family, who's going to take care of the place, who's going to keep it up. That's the condo play. But also, if someone's living in a McMansion and they want to move, downsize to a cape and close off the second floor except when the kids come, that makes sense too. The issue that I'm seeing is a lot of times those capes, not to pick on a cape, I like capes, cost as much as that big house, or pretty darn close. And that's where people say, well, where am I going to go?
We are talking with, he's terrific. We've got Gary Kelly with us, and he is a realtor with Lamocchia.
Lamocchia.
Lamocchia Realty. How can they reach you, Gary?
I can be reached on my cell at 508-733-6005 or by email at gary@movewithgary.com. See, if the real estate thing doesn't work out, I'm opening a moving business.
Are you really?
No.
I was going to say, geez.
Oh, gary@movewithgary.com.
I've noticed with realtors, most of them have quite a bit of energy. They're almost like funeral directors. They have to be on call, 24 hours a day? Do you get calls like that in the middle of the night?
No. I used to work for Fidelity Investments.
Yeah.
And, if the trading floor in Tokyo's not able to work, that's a call at 3 in the morning that you're going to get up and pay attention to. I don't get those in real estate, okay? For the most part, you get people that... they'll call in the morning, 8 o'clock, or they'll call in the evening if they're nervous, whatever. What I tell people is call anytime you'd like, and if I'm awake, I'll answer the phone. If I'm not, I don't answer the phone.
What would you advise people who they haven't got a lot of money, but they got a nice house. They want to sell the house, but they're thinking, the mortgage is paid, should I borrow against this mortgage to have something waiting for us when it gets sold? What do you do with that?
That's a question for a financial advisor.
Yeah.
One of the things that I saw as recently as 6 months ago, when the interest rates were not at 5.5% on a 30-year product, people were taking mortgages on their properties and giving the money to investment advisors to invest, and they were actually getting a return on that more than they would have gotten had they kept it in their house. I don't do that. I don't. But I know people that. I know a lot of people that did that. That also, a number of people were in the position where they said, "I'm going to buy a second home."
With what though? If you haven't sold your first.
Well, if you tap into the equity of that first home, you use that as a down payment on the second home, vacation home, whatever you want to call it, and then you've got multiple mortgage deductions you can make if you have a mortgage on them. So that's where a financial advisor comes in to say, what's the best thing to do? It's everyone's situation is different. There's no one size fits all. And that's where I think it's important for people to really understand what their options are and make the best decision on what they can do. And the other thing I'll say is, buying a house is a big investment. Yeah. I've bought and sold houses personally, and you get to a point where you say, I'm not going to fall in love with the brick. I'm just going to, this is, the numbers work or they don't. Most people, they have a huge investment in the building and the emotion of it, and that's one of the things we see. We like to say that we help people through life transitions. Yeah. If they're downsizing, they're selling that home that perhaps they raised their family in, and now it's a different situation. And they're going to go through, and here's one of our brochures. They're going to go through and they're going to look at every one of these and say, "Oh, this is what Sally did in second grade." Yeah. And to us, it's just stuff. Yeah. Not to be cruel, but to them, these are all sentimental, emotional things that they want to go through and touch. That's where, as a part of getting the house ready to go on the market, we can help to accelerate that a bit.
As a seller right now, I mean, are you pretty much guaranteed you're going to move that house quickly? I mean, I see very little houses for sale.
I don't want to say you're guaranteed because, Anthony Lamocchia years ago used to say, if we don't sell your house, I'll buy it. Yeah. Okay? They still have a program like that. And I think that they did like a dozen of them last year. I asked someone once, and they said, "Yeah, we still do it, but it's not a core part of the market because houses are selling." If the home is priced properly, and that's where working with a real estate agent, it's not what the house next door sold for, 2 years ago. It's what's going on with comps in the area. It's definitely a bit of a science to figure out what the best price is on the house. And that's what you use for marketing the home. People that go in and they say, that house down the street, I want to get more than that. They can be in trouble. Yeah. Now, we had a house that was on the market recently that was $50,000 over where Sue and I thought it should be. Yep. Seller sets the price. We couldn't pay people to come in and do tours of the house. Yeah. We talked to the owners. We had differing approaches to take. They thought that they should replace the carpet in the house and we retake pictures and stuff. We said, no, do a price adjustment. Because when you make improvements in the house, you're not going to get every dollar back.
That's what I've heard. Like the kitchen, too. Be careful because they're probably going to come in and remake it anyway, right?
What the rule of thumb that we say is you'll probably get back about 50 cents on every dollar that you spend. Yeah. So painting a place, that's fine. But if you're going to go in and start ripping up carpets, you don't know what the next person's going to want. So in that particular case, we did a price reduction, and we had multiple offers within a day. So pricing is very, very important in real estate.
We're talking with Gary Kelly, and he is a realtor and from Marlboro. Gary, again, how can they reach you?
I'm Gary Kelly. I can be reached on my cell at 508-733-6005 or by email at gary@movewithgary.com. It's also the website we've got, movewithgary.com.
Now, when somebody's getting ready to sell their house, let's say a kitchen and a bathroom need to have some love to it. Which would you say to focus on if you're going to spend a little bit of money just to kind of...
I would focus on the kitchen.
Okay.
Kitchen is the heart of the home. Yeah. That's where people gather. That's where people want, bathroom. Yeah, we all use it, but it's not where you gather. Yeah. I guess some houses.
Have you seen those showers now on the HGTV shows?
I love the showers. The big jacuzzi tubs that were big in the 90s. No one goes in those. I shouldn't say no one. Ooh. Most people don't use them anymore.
They're in the bathroom. They've got those big tubs with jets now.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that.
But the always focus on the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. One of the things people can do if they haven't touched their cabinets in the kitchen. Some people get hung up, oh, I got to replace the cabinets, and oh, I'm going to have someone come and either do it yourself or have a painter paint them.
Yeah.
Okay? Huge facelift, and it pains me to cover beautiful wood that's been there for 20, 30 years. But what's more in vogue now is painted woodwork. So paint the cabinets. That's something that people can do, and they can either do it themselves or hire it done. And it makes a big difference in the immediate pop when someone goes in and looks at the kitchen.
Change the handles? That may be okay, right?
I don't know that there's a payback on replacing handles. People do it.
Yeah.
Okay? The old bright brass, some of that's coming back.
Yeah.
So I know someone that wants to replace all the hinges in a house. I just don't see the value in that.
Yeah.
People, if you want to change something, look at the light fixtures. Okay? Light fixtures that have that old brassy look.
Yeah.
You can go to Lowe's or Home Depot or any of those stores and buy a light fixture for relatively short money, and have an electrician put it in, and it will update the look without spending a lot of money.
What about the floor? Let's say it's old linoleum and it's buckling. Replace that, or no?
That's a question on what the value is. If you're, the problem when you start to say things like, I'm going to replace the flooring. Well, the flooring doesn't look good. We always want to put an island in here where we have this extension off the rest, and it becomes nonstop. Do I think that linoleum, if it's necessary in the kitchen, is a decent spend? Yeah, but I wouldn't go nuts.
No.
We've gone into houses where the carpet is threadbare.
Yeah.
And the owner says, I want to pull this up and I want to put down hardwoods. Yeah. Well, we got a carpet guy that can come in and put carpet back down, and for a fraction of that cost, and you get the immediate look. So when someone comes in, it doesn't look tired.
Right. Gary, you said that you like to go in and stage it. That's terrific. What does the homeowner do with all of their stuff in the meantime?
Well, a couple of different things. They either fill a dumpster, okay?
Well, what about furniture? You don't put your furniture in the dumpster.
Some people do.
Okay.
Okay, there are places that, Fresh Start, that will repurpose furniture. Habitat for Humanity has Restore, so they'll take furniture and sell it to folks. Or, frankly, we tell people, just put it in the garage. The thing I struggle with is it goes back to when I sold my house. I said to my kids, you can either take the stuff with you, I'm going to put it in storage, or I'm going to put it in a dumpster. And I had gotten a dumpster, it was outside. Yeah. So we went through everything in the house. It was a very emotional Saturday, but we got done. 2 years later, I called them up and I said, guys, it's been 2 years. Neither one of you have been to that storage container, and now you have two choices. You either take it or I'll get rid of it for you, but I'm not going to keep paying for a storage container. And they came, they took some stuff, and the rest went to the dump.
But you said also, if you put it in the garage, to say the buyer's looking in that garage, they're going to go, whoa.
Buyers can understand that a garage, or if it's an unfinished basement, that you've put stuff there because people are moving out. Yeah. People can get that into their minds. What you can't have is an area of the house where someone can't walk through easily. Okay. We've been in houses where, like going down to the finished basement, you're holding onto the walls because every step is full of stuff that's been there for years. Buyers don't want to do that.
No.
They want to be able to see the house. So you've got to get rid of enough stuff that they can see the house. Now, we're coming into summertime. What we'll tell people is go through your closets and all your winter clothes, package that stuff up, and get ready to move it. Okay? So that's an immediate 50%-ish of the closet can get cleared out. So it's a quick way to get in that mindset of moving, but also making the house, the closet, appear usable.
Something I want to mention, something that happened to my husband and I. We were just thinking about condos a number of years ago, and we were shown into a condo, and out of the clear blue sky, the elderly owner and his son. It was like something from the Munsters. You know how the daddy Munster comes up through the stairs? I said, oh my God, there's someone here. And he didn't even know that our realtor was coming with us that day. Yeah. I was, to put it mildly, very upset. It's embarrassing for me and for them. I just left and sat in the car and waited. It just completely spoiled it for me and for the realtor because done deal. It was just awful. Do you have that happen and somebody hangs around?
You know, everyone's different. We ask our sellers to leave the home. Yeah. Because when you walk into the house, you don't want to have that very feeling when you walk into the house. There are occasions where someone's not able to leave the house. Maybe they're disabled in some way, or in those cases, what we do is we put that into our listing and say to people, you know, the owner's going to be there, and here's why, and they can work around it.
I've also seen, I was in one of the HGTVs, some show. What was that guy? He did Flip or Flop. He's pretty cool with his wife. They're divorced now, but he's got Tarek. Tarek. He's got a van now, all equipped. He can watch on camera with the sellers as they go. Now, how many people put cameras to watch their potential?
There's actually something in MLS now where we have to indicate if there are recording devices in the house because a lot of people have Nest cams, drop cams, baby cams, and you know even the dog feeding thing can have a camera in it. Yeah. So what we do is we tell our buyers and we tell our sellers. I actually don't like it when people sit there and watch the video, but we tell buyers don't go into the house and talk about the house because you have to assume you're being recorded.
And they might not tell you. They may not tell the realtor they've got it being recorded, right?
We're supposed to indicate that in MLS.
Well, we can't blame you guys if you're not told.
I understand.
It's been good to have you on the show, Gary. I wonder if a year from now we'll be looking at the same market.
I think the market is going to continue at this pace, but it's temporary. Yeah. So, you know, prices on homes went up 20% in the last year. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see 20% this year. It's going to come down. And by virtue of the fact of interest rates going up, you've got the Fed and everything else putting a tamper on inflation.
Oh, yes.
Well,
you know, well, you're a great one to talk to because you think, okay, we can sell the house, but what everybody is asking is, where am I going to go after I sell it? It's true. Right. And if you want to go to one of those little subsidized senior housing, I don't want to live in a hamster cage. I don't think. And so many people are living longer. Spouses are together now. Yep. You try to put them in a hamster cage. That's real doubt.
I'm not going to call it a hamster cage. That's not one of the options in MLS.
No, but low-income housing is subsidized. Oh, my God.
You know, it's people, at this point, pricing is very high, and people are doing the best they can. And I just have to respect that.
You got it. Thank you for being with us. Are you going to post those your brochures downstairs on the bulletin boards?
I most certainly will. This is how Sue and I help people through life's transitions. And that's what it all is.
You should be a coach, a life coach. Thank you for being with us, Gary.
My pleasure.
And don't be shy to call him. Thinking of selling your house. We'll see you next time. I'll be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.